Hi everybody, I'm Emily Metcalf. I'm one of the librarians at Grand Valley, and I'm your librarian for the duration of this section of Writing 130. I am recording this video because we're going to be remote tomorrow. We're going to be asynchronous. So this is embedded in a worksheet that your professor and I are asking you to fill out today instead of doing class. It is not ideal. I really would prefer to teach you all in person, to get to meet you all in person, and work with you one-on-one with your topics. But you know what? I'm still here for you, even if it's virtually. So if anything in this worksheet is confusing or you have questions, you can reach out to me at my last name, METCAL, and then EM at gbsu.edu. So reach out if you have questions. Here we go. We're going to talk about class today. So what we're doing today is we're going to go through this worksheet. The point of it is to think about the data that you've been collecting for this essay. We are going to sort of think about how we might connect it to some bigger ideas, maybe some scholarly concepts that are being researched. And then we're going to think about how to find those pieces of scholarship or pieces of information. We're going to look at Google. We are going to look at the library search, and we might look at Google Scholar as well. So hopefully what we're going to do at the end of this is you're going to have found a few pieces of information that connect with your data or help you connect your data to a bigger conversation, a bigger topic. And you're going to need these pieces of information for the next class you have in person. And you're going to need to have read them, and you're going to need to summarize them in like 2 or 3 sentences. So that's what you're going to need for next Tuesday. Today, we're just focused on connecting our data to bigger topics, and we are going to think about where we're going to find good information. So first I want to talk about the data that I collected. I thought this was an interesting assignment, and when your professor was walking me through it, I kind of wanted to do it too, just to get a sense of how you all were sort of probably wrangling with this at this point. And so I thought about what's a reasonable thing for me to collect data on. I thought about like, maybe it's the clothes that I wear. Then I realized I wore the same sweater like 4 days in a row because it is the color of my dog's hair. And I thought that's not very interesting data. You wore the same sweater 3 days in a row. And so then I thought like, maybe I want to do something with work. How many meetings did I have in a day? Frankly, I don't really care about that. So like, what's something in my life that I think about regularly? And this weird thing occurred to me where a few weeks ago, a colleague of mine, another librarian named Anna, she asked me how I was. She was like, Emily, how are you? Which I thought was weird because I sort of had just told her like how my day was going and what I was up to. And so I gave her that sort of look of like, I'm good. Why? And she was like, well, because your shoulders are at your ears. And what she meant was I was doing this. And admittedly, we were at lunch. I was hunched over eating soup, so that was part of it. But she said it, and I immediately like adjusted everything. My neck, my shoulders, my head, and so I have been thinking about that like nonstop. So I decided that what I was going to do this week was track how often I catch myself correcting my shoulders and putting them back, but also just putting them down. So like not being so clenched, but just being relaxed. So that's what I've counted. There's a little chart, a picture of a chart in the worksheet where you can see my data over the last week. And I have considered, what was going on the days I was doing this more and had to relax. What was going on those days? And so what I ended up thinking about was stress in my life. I was thinking about, I mentioned my dog earlier. She is new to me. I am new to her, and we are both learning about each other. That's a little stressful. Work is really busy right now. That's a little stressful. So some meetings that I've had are really like important meetings, and I'm stressed about those. And so I've been able to track that a little bit. And it's been kind of interesting. I might continue doing it. But for today's purposes, I have a week's worth of data, and that's what I'm working with. So now that I've collected my data, it's time to think about how does my data connect to other topics out there in the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a 2-minute timer, and I'm going to write down all of the different ideas that come to mind in those 2 minutes. Then I'm going to ask you to do the same. I've got like a section in this worksheet for you. I link to a 2-minute timer if that would be helpful to you. It's like a YouTube video. It makes a very alarming sound when it's over. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to brainstorm for 2 minutes, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to sort of think about what came up, what was interesting. So I'm going to set a timer right now. I'm going to go for it. You can do the same, or you can just stay on this video. I'm going to edit it so you don't have to sit in silence for 2 minutes, which is weird. Okay, so I'm back. I did this for 2 minutes, and I was kind of surprised how quickly the 2 minutes went. I feel like for like the first minute and a half, I was like just writing. I had lots of thoughts. And then the last 30 seconds, it was a little more of me like actually thinking and digging into ideas to come up with some topics that I might connect this like posture shoulder thing to. So what I came up with, and you can see like this is, maybe you can see it. That's not great. I'll put up a graphic in the worksheet of what sort of my doodling looks like. I'm not a big doodler. I'm more of like writing and there's lines and scribbles. So the thoughts that I connected my sort of posture thing to was first stress. Then there's stress at work, which includes I had my annual review this week. That's stressful. Even though my boss is delightful, it's still stressful to be reviewed. There's some changes going on at the library, some like structural changes, and that's stressful to me just because things are changing and that's stressful. There's some locations shifting, like my boss might move to where my office is, and so like that's kind of a stressful thing to me. Again, she's delightful. And then I mentioned my dog. I got this dog. She's stressful. I love her so much, but it's stressful to learn how to like interact with a new creature in your space. She's a little reactive. And so that's stressful to me. I took her to training yesterday to meet with a behavior analysis person. So that was stressful, just learning about, you know, what should I be doing? What should I be sort of guiding my dog towards doing? So that's stressful. Also, holy cow, it's expensive to have a dog. That's stressful to me too. The other stress I came up with while brainstorming was stress at home. My home life is not terribly stressful, but I did write down my brother and I aren't in a great place right now, so that's a little stressful to me. I don't think it's a main stressor, but it's in there. And then the other thing I was thinking about was posture, is like what I'm doing, I'm impacting posture here. The stress is manifesting as this, so like, bring it down, here's the posture correct. I was thinking about posture and stress, obviously, what's the impact of stress on posture? And then maybe vice versa. What's the impact of posture on stress? Can I, by doing this correction, am I decreasing stress? Maybe I'm increasing stress. I don't know. This is why we do research. I also thought about posture and health, specifically like spinal health. And then thinking about posture and aging. You know, you see some people as they age, their posture sort of shifts. So that's something that I was thinking about. And then I was thinking about the impact of going to the gym on my posture. So does strength training, maybe my shoulders, would that impact my posture? Or vice versa, does my posture impact how well I can conduct those sorts of exercises? Those are all the things that I came up with, and it was just 2 minutes. So I'm going to encourage you to take these 2 minutes pretty seriously. I just wrote with a pen and some scratch paper I had. I just wrote down all my thoughts. They're not super coherent, but like, they're thoughts. I'm connecting the data I collected to some bigger ideas that I might be able to explain and write about for a reader who hasn't been sort of following me as I collect the data. So take 2 minutes, go ahead and do this yourself.